There is a place, not here or there, but somewhere in between. There is a space in the thin air that really can't be seen. If you listen and observe, you may be surprised. Some may call it Camelot or even paradise. Some may say you cross a bridge, others through a door. But all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore. Evermore.
Hello, sweet spirits. Welcome to the show. My name is Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm the host and founder of Evermore Paranormal. Today, we are in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, on a paranormal road trip. In particular, I am at the Farnsworth ParaCon, interviewing participants. So let's get started. Please welcome Sabrina Beackley to the show. Hey, Sabrina.
Hello, Suzanne.
Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So what brings you here to the Farnsworth House in ParaCon? It's a long word, but...
I came to help with the ParaCon, friends that work here, and I'm also the affiliate of Evermore Paranormal for the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so have you ever stayed at the Farnsworth House Inn?
Oh yeah, I stayed there once.
And did you have any paranormal experiences, or what you think might be?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me about it.
I was sleeping in a bed with a friend, and I was teasing, trying to get the ghost to do something, and they had like a little coat hanging on the wall of a child's, and I said, well, if you're not going to do anything, then I'm going to take this home with me, you know, just me joking. And needless to say, they did. They grabbed my foot, and I basically crawled up my friend's behind in the bed because it scared me a little bit. And I think the other one was when we were alone and everybody was gone in there. It sounded like there was a tea party, a bunch of people downstairs laughing, and women laughing. It sounded like glasses, maybe, you know, that sort of thing. Men talking. But then when I went down to check, it would stop. And then I'd go back up the stairs, it would start up again.
This is in the middle of the night too, right?
No, this was during the day.
Oh, during the day.
Morning.
Okay.
Yeah, when we were leaving out.
But we still had the place. You know, nobody else was there really.
No, you guys were all gone. Remember, we were.
Afterward.
Left.
Yeah,
we were left, and to give the keys to the people.
Okay.
And when everybody was out of there, that's when that was going on down there.
Oh wow.
So that's mainly the things that I had experienced in there.
Yeah. So what, you don't think? Well, do you think it was something negative or just a prank, friendly ghost kind of thing?
I don't think it was negative. I think if they were be negative, they would have definitely tried to do something more harmful.
Yes.
Than just saying, "Hey, we're here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been to Gettysburg before?
Oh, absolutely, several times over the years.
I
love it. Second
home. Like a second home, I was going to say. So, you've been here a lot of times. What are your favorite places to go to, you know, for the paranormal investigating, researching, and what's happened?
I would say like the orphanage, Jenny Wade's. I definitely like those two places. And I also like going out on the battlefields. I've had several experiences out on the battlefields with paranormal. The first one that is really awesome, it was a full-fledged body apparition.
Oh, tell me about that.
I actually thought he was a reenactor. I wanted to get a picture with him, so I actually went on the other side that was up on Little Round Top. And my friend Marie was with me, and I was trying to get her attention to take this picture with this gentleman. And as she was turning around, he was dissipating. And at that point, I didn't realize until I turned and looked, because there's a, I want to say the New York, I'm not sure what that thing's called up there. But anyway, they were up top, and they were looking down, as it was happening, and that's what got my attention to turn around. So, yeah, so that was
your first time. Was that the first full body?
Full body, looked real as me and you and anybody else, yes.
Anywhere? The first full body, or just in Gettysburg?
In Gettysburg.
So is there any place you haven't been in Gettysburg that you'd like to investigate?
Generally. I have not been there.
I think they tore it down.
Did they?
I think they tore it down last year or so.
Good. Well, I guess
Great.
that's not going to happen.
No, I think they did. I think they did. It was. I'm not sure, but I think so.
And the other place that I think I really would love to get into would be Cashtown.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first, I don't know if I told you, but when I was sick, I was watching Ghost Hunters, and the episode that I remember so well is when Grant was at Cashtown, picture frame moved.
Oh, yeah.
On camera. So that is actually where I wanted to go first. And for some reason I thought it was too far from Gettysburg, so we decided to stay at Farnsworth.
Oh,
and we accidentally came to Farnsworth, and once you come here, I don't know, to me I feel like I'm drawn here to Farnsworth.
Yes, well, I think Gettysburg in itself is a home away from home for a lot of people. It draws you here.
Yes.
The history and, the experiences along with the ghosts and, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you for coming to Gettysburg today and helping us out.
And thank you.
And being an affiliate for the show.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a lot of fun times in the future, I think.
Yep, I can't wait.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm back here at the Farnsworth ParaCon now, and I am showing off some of my haunted objects that I have here. This bell gives people some weird vibes. It was taken off of an abandoned house that a man had seen it at, and he thought it might be of some value for the antique purposes. So he brought it into his house, and he started to hear just these terrible sounds. Started to hear banging on his walls, doors were opening and closing. He started to experience the sound of walking along him and behind him as he was going about his daily business. So he contacted a paranormal group in the local area here who knew of us, where we specialize in haunted objects. So he sent it over to us, and I know what he meant. There was something attached to this bell. We tried to cleanse it quite a few times. Nothing came off. Every time we did, we would get these EVPs of a man screaming in our recorder, telling us to stop and to leave him alone. Whatever's with it hasn't left. It is still there, but we do keep it tame. It doesn't express activity much anymore these days. Now, the next, right beside here, is a little German Bible that a woman had found when she was going through her grandfather's estate because her mother was too sick. And as she was going through his estate, she found a little box in the back of his closet, and in this box had his World War II items, because he was apparently a soldier in World War II. And she found this little Bible, and she instantly felt a connection to it. So she asked her mom about it, and her mom said that this was actually a Bible that he took from a German soldier that he had killed over there in World War II in Germany. And this book, on some of the pages even, you can see a little bit of dried up blood. And it's had a World War II soldier with it ever since. Whether it be a German or her grandfather, we're not entirely sure. We believe that it is the German soldier itself, just because we've gotten German back on EVP sessions that we've done. And we have seen, actually, the figure of a World War II soldier in my house at one point when I brought it home the first day. So it did have a lot of things with it. It still does have that soldier with it, but we keep it at bay with different forms of cleansings that we do. Now, over here, we have a little musical doll that's pretty creepy looking. Not a lot of people enjoy looking at it because it has red eyes. It does play music if you pull on the string. The person who originally found this, she bought it at an antique store. She didn't really know much about it. But as soon as she started bringing it in her house, she had noticed that it was being moved to places that she didn't put it. And not only that, it would start playing by itself all the time. And she didn't like that. She thought something was wrong with it. She contacted her daughter to come by and actually check and see if there's something wrong with it. Daughter couldn't find anything wrong with it. She went to bed that night in her mother's house, and she actually experienced a figure walking right along her, playing that exact same music that doll makes. So that's when she got a little terrified. And that's when she contacted a paranormal group who referred them to us. And we took the doll. It still does play musical tunes. Same time, pretty much every day it was doing it. Now it doesn't do it as much since we have cleansed and blessed it. But there are days where it is very active. It has gone missing before in my storage unit where I keep my items. Today, the big talk of the haunted objects has been this hand-carved wooden box here. This box, it is scary. I tell people not to touch it all the time. They still do. But this box, how it was found, this guy was restoring a house in Leesburg, Virginia, and when he was tearing down a wall that was between the kitchen and the living room, he actually came across this box. And he pulled it out of the wall, and when he opened it, he found all these kinds of different things in there. It was covered in some kind of colored substance, but there were small bones and ashes and different pieces of cloth found inside of the box. And right away, he knew something was wrong. He could feel a presence around him. He could even hear almost the sound of something coming towards him. And not only that, he did not want to keep that box. He thought something was seriously wrong with it. So he went to throw it away, but instead his friend took it. And when his friend took it, he started to experience the same issues. He was starting to get these things that would run up right behind him. He would get these figures in his house. He would hear these inhuman noises, gargles, screeches, growls. He even saw multiple entities at one time in his house. And his brother had it even before that. He took it from his other brother originally, and this man, he experienced so much with it. He went through a lot. He almost had a divorce because of this box. That's when he gave it to his friend. That's when his friend had all the issues. And then that's when they decided to give it over to KPIA here. And we tell people not to touch the box now, because almost everyone who has touched the box in the past have come away with some sort of attachment or paranormal activity ever since. So, the people who have touched the box, I wish them luck. Kind of wish they didn't do it. Now, this picture of the woman in the corner here, this was found in a house in West Hartford, Connecticut, where I was at the time. And this was a picture that was hanging in the house for generations. This was a generational house. This is a very wealthy family. So they always had pictures up of their family members. And it was stayed in the same spot for years upon years. Now, there was an instance where the mother of the family wanted to do a little spring cleaning. So she thought moving some things around might be the best thing for her. Fresh start, fresh to the spring. And she moved things around. But when she did, she also moved this picture. She decided to put this in the storage room and put some other pictures out. And when she did that, that was probably one of the biggest mistakes she could do. They said that they encountered the walls shaking. There was footsteps and heavy boot steps running all over the ground. They had these figures that would run right towards them, shadow figures mainly. This one woman had seen a woman itself that looked just like her, sitting at the edge of her bed crying. And that's when they called us to come in at the time, and we were able to tell that this woman was actually the same woman in the picture. And using the spirit box, we were able to tell that this woman felt like she was being forgotten, being put back in the storage room. So that being said, we wanted to put the picture back out in the room where it was, but they didn't want to at that point. They wanted to get rid of it. So that's when we took it, and we still do have a woman that comes with it from time to time. It is a creepy picture. You can almost feel the eyes moving with you sometimes. I don't personally like it. I don't have it out in sight for me to see when I'm in my storage unit.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm here at Farnsworth ParaCon. And since I'm here at Farnsworth ParaCon, I thought I'd tell you about my paranormal experiences at Farnsworth House Inn. Well, first of all, I got to tell you how I discovered Farnsworth House Inn. It was by total accident, really. I'd been watching the show Ghost Hunters for years, and I'd never investigated. So in 2011, I decided that I wanted to go to Cashtown Inn. I thought Cashtown Inn was in Gettysburg, but it's a little further away from the main drag, the historic part. So it's about 10 miles away, I'm told. Anyway, the reason I wanted to go there was because on the show Ghost Hunters, Grant had a picture frame move one night when he was staying there. So I wanted to go and experience that also. So anyway, when we checked into it, Cashtown Inn was a little far, so the next thing was, where are we going to stay? So I looked into this place called Farnsworth House Inn. And I found out that Farnsworth House Inn is the most haunted inn in America. I have to agree. I've stayed there a number of times. And I'm glad that I ended up going to Farnsworth House Inn instead. Never did get to Cashtown Inn, but I still plan on going someday. So we get to Farnsworth House Inn, and I really wanted to stay in the Sarah Black room because that's supposedly the most haunted room at the inn. Well, it was booked, so we stayed at in the Sweeney room. The Sweeney room is right next door. It's in the original part of the house. So, again, this was my first time ever to go out and investigate. And it was really informal. It was just me and my husband. We got a room. I put some trigger objects up, set some equipment up, and first of all, what happened was my camera malfunctioned. Secondly, all night long, I was hearing dragging in the attic. And then, so I was so afraid. This was my first time of investigating. I left the lights on, but I left my equipment running all night long to see what I'd catch. I never went to sleep until early in the morning, like, I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the morning. I finally dozed off for a minute. And when I dozed off, I woke up to a soldier, apparition, floating over me. He was wearing a blue uniform, like a Civil War uniform. He had brown hair, brown mustache, brown beard, and very piercing blue eyes. So there I see it, and I go, oh, that's my husband. And I look over to the left, and my husband's sound asleep. When I look back, the spirit was gone. So I really do believe I saw that. In addition, as I said, I left the voice recorder running all night long. So I listened to my recordings. What did I hear? Someone was knocking on the door. Now remember, I didn't fall asleep, but just for a few minutes. Somebody knocked on the door all night long. There was jiggling of the doorknob. Didn't hear any of that until I played the voice recorder. Also, there was a loud crash in the room. That didn't happen, but we caught it on the voice recorder. Also, we heard the dresser drawer open and shut. So, something was going on. Now, I have to say that the dresser drawer contains some toys. They put toys in there so that the spirits will play with the toys rather than mess with your electronics, your change, your keys, whatever. So it was a pretty eventful first visit to Farnsworth House Inn. So the next time we went, I said, well, I gotta stay in the Sarah Black room. So again, my husband and I go. I set up a whole bunch of trigger objects and equipment, and we leave the room. We left the room for about 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours. I'd turned the voice recorder on before I left. When I came back, the voice recorder had turned off after about 20 minutes. when I played the voice recording back, I heard kids in our room. 2 or 3 kids playing and laughing and giggling. This was wintertime. Nobody was around. The inn was pretty much empty. Nobody was even on the streets. The windows were closed because it was really cold. It was winter. So don't know where these kids came from on the voice recording. So that night, again, I was scared still. I left the lights on and I was afraid. So I was hearing the dragging in the attic again. I was feeling creeped out and I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out what. It was so cold, I told my husband I was going to go sleep in the car. And it was like below 0 kind of weather. And he wouldn't let me go sleep in the car, but I was so terrified to be in that room. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but I knew something was going on. So I took pictures, and I took pictures a lot. And I compared them. And over a 4-month period after my visit, I kept going back and looking at the pictures. Like once a month I go, there's something in this picture. I know something is there. 2nd month, 3rd month. On the 4th month after we had our visit, I spot that a toy that was in the windowsill was about 1.5 feet above the windowsill, peeking out from the curtains. In other words, a cast iron toy. It was a horse on wheels with a little boy sitting on it. A cast iron toy was floating 1.5 feet above the windowsill and not even in the windowsill. It was peeking out from the curtains. So we went back a few months later and I got in, they let me go in the room. I tried to recreate this to see if maybe it was just some kind of distorted photo. Could not recreate this picture without holding the toy up 1.5 feet off the windowsill. So I experienced a levitating toy in that room. So the next time I went, my goal was to stay in every room. So the next time I went, I stayed in the McFarland room. There really wasn't a lot going on in there. Actually, when we stayed in there, the room creeped me out because it was very dark. There's a very deep closet in there, which supposedly has a lot of paranormal activity. I didn't experience any of that. There was also taxidermy in there. It just was, the room gave me creeps, but nothing paranormal happened until we left. So we left and we checked out and we went down the back staircase. Before we checked out, we turned off everything, got our stuff, and we locked the door and we went down the back staircase and we were going to go around to the bookstore to turn in our keys. As we were walking by, I look up at our window and the light is on. The light that we turned off seconds before. So that was the only thing that I experienced in the McFarland room. So finally, I have not gotten into all the rooms yet because they don't allow dogs, and I have dogs now. But I will try to get back someday to the other rooms. However, we did a project there where I took there was supposed to be about 12 women, and we were sharing the rooms. There's 6 rooms in the main house. So it ended up just being 9 of us. So I took a bunch of girls, women, and we each shared a room, 2 women per room, and then my husband had his own room because he was the filming and directing and so on. So that night, all the women, we were filming while we were sleeping. That was the point of the project, to see if anything happened while we were sleeping. And this was in January of 2015 that we did this. So the next morning, we all met for breakfast. All the ladies reported that they heard women talking and laughing all night long. They heard pacing back and forth in the hallway. Now, and they heard the room doorknobs jiggling. One lady experienced in the Eisenhower room, experienced her covers lifting up and down all night long, which I did catch on film. And for me, again, I was still scared. We left the light on, and I tried to go to sleep. I couldn't. So I finally dozed off, and the first time I dozed off, something came up and grabbed my breast, my right breast, which was closest to the side of the bed. I screamed, woke up my friend, and after I got over it, I dozed off again, and lo and behold, something came back and grabbed it again. So on 2 separate occasions, I had my breast squoze. So it's, that, again, I really do feel like the Farnsworth House Inn never disappoints. And I've always had paranormal experiences there. So there you go. I'll be going back, and I really know that something will happen because it always does. So thanks for joining me on another paranormal road trip. Until next time, peace out.
So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure. For all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore.